Hey guys, let's update our shop breakdown. First of all, I want to make you aware of course, this shop from the current storyline here called Claudia's Exchange. Here it is of course recommended to always empty those shops out, right? In case you're a new player and you have to focus on the main story and other stuff first, and you will not be able to clear the shop completely out here because you simply don't have the stamina to accomplish that. Here is something called gluttony that you should definitely 100% always buy. Every time you can get a gluttony for free, go for that no matter what. And of course you purchase the Unilocks, right? That's a no-brainer. The same thing goes for the main bulletin shop called Main's Trust. There you can also obtain yourselves a gluttony, or I think even two. Definitely go for these gluttonies first before you buy anything else in that shop. Now let's go to the quote-unquote real shop, this one right here. Here you have multiple different packs. First of all, let me tell you what the very best thing is that you can possibly buy anywhere in this entire game. That is the Roaring Month. That costs you $5, that lasts for 1 month, and it gives you a huge amount of Unilocks, but you only get 90 clear drops per day and some candy and stuff. This is by far the best bet for your buck, and this pack has the most amount of value in general. And then things get a little bit interesting. The first thing that you have to be aware of and that you have to know is that $1 equals 1 Unilock, and that is always what you should look out first. If you receive a pack, for example, like this one right here, this one cost you $10. Now they try to trick you and by not giving you a Unilocks directly, but instead they give you clear drops, and you have to now know the exchange rate for these clear drops. And you have to be aware that 1 Unilock equals 180 clear drops. So 180 clear drops is what you need, and you can exchange those to obtain 1 Unilock. Alright, now you gotta of course do the quote-unquote math, so that you would obtain 10 Unilocks. To obtain 10 Unilocks, you would need to obtain 1800 clear drops. Since that is not the case here, you don't get 10 Unilocks for your $10. That already tells you this pack is not worth it. Of course, you have to, especially as a very new player, have to take into consideration what else is in this pack. And inside caskets, dust, sharpodonties, all this stuff is farmable in the game, and stuff that is easily farmable inside of this game is not recommended to spend money for in general. Now there are of course other packs, like, let me find them real quick, these ones right here, the materials bonanza, and everything else that would give you materials as a new player that cannot get very far in Reveries of the Rain. And these packs here allow you to choose stuff that you cannot obtain right now because you cannot go deep enough in Reveries. And with version 2.8, with the 2nd anniversary being around, you will have to upgrade a lot of Euphoria updates. There are a whole bunch of them. So if you spend money without spending that money onto Unilocks specifically, then those packs that include like the Sprout of Fantasy, the Seed of Inspiration, things that you obtain while you do the Reverie, are the most recommended stuff. So you can go for Sprout of Fantasies here, or you can add in a little bit of Seed of Inspiration and buy those, right? Because those are, yeah, farmable, but you cannot obtain them as a new player because you cannot beat the Reveries. So that's a very good thing. Then you have a materials party here for $10 instead of $5. That is also very, very good because, yeah, crystal caskets are not too shabby in value either, because those are needed in order for you to upgrade the resonance. That is not something that you necessarily have to really worry about, because usually resonance level 9 is good enough for the beginning, and if you're not a new player, you have enough of those already at your disposal. So the gluttony has a little bit more value. Gluttony, as I just explained when we talked about the other shops, is very valuable because those are very, very scarce, but also very, very important to level up your Psycubes. And you always want to have the signature Psycube fully upgraded for the character that you use. Additionally, the most important item to upgrade a Euphoria to max are the keys of thought. Those are also very, very scarce, especially if you either don't have access to the Voyages of Volatility yet, or you don't dive in the reveries, then you will not obtain these keys, but you need to upgrade your Euphoria updates. So purchasing them here is like a viable thing to do. But again, what you always have to keep in mind, that is only the case if you want to spend money, if you can spend the money, and you don't spend the money directly on Unilogs. Then this materials bonanza and this materials party here come in clutch. Remember though, choose the keys, right? And then again, another thing that I want to mention, that for one Euphoria update, you need 4 keys. Here you get only 6. And this costs $10. So yeah, that is a decision that you of course have to make yourself, as money has different value depending on the individual person. Then right now, since we are in the Assassin's Creed collaboration, we have, let me call them special packs. Those packs allow you to specifically get pulls for Ezio. That is also something that is never worth in general. I can give you another example. There is something here where you can obtain yourself a Decatone. Wait, let me find that real quick. This one right here. You pay again $11 for, so to speak, 10 Unilogs. That is already, right, not the value. For $11 you want 11 Unilogs. But this one is even worse, because here these 10 Unilogs that you would get, quote-unquote Unilogs, those are not really Unilogs, because you can only pull on the Euphoria banner with this. So this pack, don't ever buy that. That is complete scam. And same for these things, right? Like, to get 7 pulls on the Ezio banner for $7 is absolutely ridiculously not worth it. First of all, because if you are brand new, then you will reroll for Ezio. And if you're a veteran, then Ezio is a must skip. So why in the world would you ever buy this? It doesn't make any sense. Again, don't buy these packs for Ezio. That is completely worthless. And that's about the purchases. So if you're a new player, go for the stuff that you cannot farm in game, such as the stuff for reveries that I showed you. And remember that per $1 you want 1 Unilog for us. That is the exchange rate, and everything else cannot be recommended. Then we have the garment shop. Here for $10 you can obtain yourself a skin and outfit for a character that you love, right? And this is also something that is like totally up to the individual. You can buy a skin if you want for your favorite character in the game that you use a lot, because I mean, why not? That is up to you, right? If you want, there's no value in this other than you make the game a little bit more pretty for yourself. That is something you have to decide for yourself, obviously. Miracle Mart can be completely ignored, honestly. And here is where things get a little bit more interesting, because here you have shops with like different tabs, right? We have the best counter, we have the treble counter, and the drop counter. Okay, here in some cases that I will go over, we will go over all of these scenarios. Here you can see Unilog monthly limit 10. You come in here every single month and you purchase the Unilogs if you can, every single time. You never want to miss out on those. Here are also, right, remember what I said for new players that cannot do the reveries yet, Seed of Inspiration. That is something that you will need in order to upgrade your Euphoria updates. So this is also worth considering. Then MF polarization, all these polarization items, they're also quite scarce. So those are the items that you consider. The first thing you always buy every single month are the Unilocks that I just purchased. And you have these things in multiple counters here. Treble counter usually should be ignored, right? And yeah, here you exchange your clear drops for Unilocks. Also not too much of a big deal. Then we have this shop here again, right? Here you buy your Psycubes. What you always purchase every single month are the 2 gluttonies that you have access here to. Boom, every month. And then you can vary about whatever Psycube you would want to purchase. Here I just did a video covering all the good Psycubes in this game. Here on Nerec shop, crystal caskets, pretty high value. Here you can buy 2 crystal caskets, 2 per month. Recommended to absolutely obtain them every single month, twice for sure. Other than that, the shop is pretty useless. In case you would need something here though, yeah, just don't worry about it, just buy it, right? Then the nostalgia shop, yeah, here. Whatever you need here, buy it, don't have to go here. Wilderness shop can be completely ignored unless again you want to make your game a little bit more pretty. You have fun designing the wilderness, and this is the place where you can obtain cool stuff for your wilderness if you like it. And then Echoes of the Rain, yeah, completely useless. Never buy something out of the glow house here. And the Puddle of Rain, yeah, is to purchase your skins, right? But you can just purchase them by paying 10 bucks. So also completely useless shop. And that's really pretty much all about it. Oh yeah, we have something called a battle pass in this game. This is also very, like, not recommended to ever purchase that. Although, like, again, right, for new players there is some value in here, because yeah, you get Unilocks, right? You get the crystal caskets, and you get stuff to purchase your Psycube. You get gluttony, which we just talked about, is pretty valuable. And there are also some keys of thought here that you need to upgrade your Euphoria updates. Wait a minute, where are they actually? Here, 3 keys of thought. See? Again, yeah, those are not 4. That's a little bit unfortunate. But, I mean, you know what I mean. In general, generally speaking, you only ever purchase this battle pass right here if you want the garment that is currently featured in that battle pass. Otherwise, it is not worth it. But again, those 10 bucks are, for new players, actually well spent here. So, to make like a priority list, at least a little bit, the first thing, if you want to spend money, of course, right, that's like, obviously, then the first thing you should buy every time is this Roaring Month here in the Endless Supply section. That is the best bet for your buck by far. Other than that, look out here for packs that give you 1 Unilock per dollar. If you don't obtain, like this pack here for example, if you don't obtain 10 Unilocks for 10 bucks, you don't buy that. Always 1 Unilock for $1. That is very important to notice. If you again spend money that is not spent for Unilocks, you go for stuff that you cannot currently farm or grind for in this game, such as the materials that I talked about when it comes to Reveries in the Rain. And yeah, that's about it, guys. For new players, again, the battle pass is not too shabby, and yeah, everything else is pretty useless and doesn't have the necessary value. And that's my shop breakdown, guys. I hope that was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.